Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roundtable Game Changers Edition. I'm your host, Jalen Tarr, and along with me is my special guest, Chris Lyles Jr., the founder of Sportscasters Podcast, creator of the Sportscasters Network. Glad to have you with us. How are you doing today, Chris? What you been doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain at all. Just another day, another dollar.
I feel you. Well, we're not going to waste no more time. We'll get the fans what they want. We're going to jump right into it. So this episode is this is the first episode of Roundtable, where we have one-on-one interviews with up-and-coming podcasters or media content creators to where we get an in-depth look of why they do what they do for a consistent basis. Upload sports, music, pop culture, breaking news, and whatnot. So we're going to get into Sportscasters Network. So, Chris, I just want to get into an in-depth loop. So give me a step-by-step of how sportscasters came to your mind. What made you create Sportscasters?
I feel like I have a different story every time I get asked this question. Well, I guess the number one main thing is it was around my birthday, June 27th, and just sitting there. And this is like I guess you could say the height of the pandemic during like the end of the spring, in the heat of the summer. So I'm sitting there, trying to find a job, can't find anything. Was in an internship at the time. And one of the things that I kept learning about the internship that I was in, I kept, researching all these people and that were in these big time positions. And it's like, man, I want to get there one day. But the main thing that I've learned from each person was they created something, whatever it was. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking as, not really weeks, as days go by, I'm just sitting there like, dang, man, I really want to create something. I just don't know what it is. I know it want to be sports. I just don't know what. And that's when I was like, you know what? I want to do something with sports content, but creating or merging sports marketing at the same time because I love marketing, I love social media, I love all that. So I was just trying to figure out how can I combine me wanting to know or learn about sports content also with what I know about sports marketing. And another thing that I was taught too was you'll always have your gift is something that you always wake up with every day and you don't have to make money from it, but you still love to do it. And I was like, you know what? I love sports content. I was like, dang, you know what? I could actually wake up every day, go straight to ESPN, get what I need from it, and then go about my day. And I was like, you know what if I like build something upon that? And so I've been struggling I was struggling for like 2 days trying to figure out a name. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come up with Sportscasters. And we dropped the website July 6th. And from that point on, we just been smooth sailing. So I would say, what is that? In a matter of a week of putting everything together? Yeah.
So like for me, your story is kind of similar to mine. My personal take I have my own for people that don't for my content. Mine is game changers. I haven't really told anybody this full story, but how I started, it was basically to where I was in school, going to class. My mom called me. I have to give credit to my mom because she helped me come up with the name. She was like, "Did you ever think about creating like your own show?" And I was like, I never really thought about it because I talk about sports a lot around my parents and around my friends. And it was like, you need to come up with something. I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, I want something that is different. I'm the type of person where I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. I want to stand out different, but I want it to be simple. I ain't trying to go overboard. So I was like, it's people that say a lot. They say game changer, like, oh, he's a game changer. She's a game changer. Come up with game changer. She's like, that's a good idea. So that's when the Game Changers was born. So she was like, I need a logo. So everything marketing wise, I was learning how to do all that. I had business meetings with other people of who could create my logo, what ideas that I had or whatnot. And that's when the logo itself came together and the show was created. This was 2019. When COVID hit, that was the hardest part for my podcast because I didn't know how to fully develop the at-home experience for the fans until I saw your show. when I saw your show, I was like, this is pretty cool. And I was like, I need to network with this guy. I needed to network with Chris. This is how me and Chris met. I was like, I need to network with this guy. And I was like, okay, he goes to USC. He's from Columbia. I was like, cool. We kicked it off and the rest is history. So it's like now we got one of the top sports media content brands in Columbia and for our age, from what people say.
Right.
So it's like we're doing some big things. Like it's just crazy. I think what really motivated me to create the show, I wanted to give my personal views on how I see things to people that didn't have the opportunity to get their thoughts and stuff out there. So I wanted to make it an opportunity for me and give the opportunity for other people around me to share their thoughts or whatnot. So what was your like idea on the vision for sportscasters? Like, did you want to reach to a certain amount of people? Did you want to reach out to everybody? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm gonna put it like this. I have two ways of thinking of it. I have the dream kind of way of like just answering, kind of your first question of reaching everybody. I would love to reach everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The analytical side of me is like I take it in stages. So I know I have to conquer South Carolina first.
Mm-hmm.
And then like my goal was in the next 5 to 7 years, I would love to have employees to reach a national level. In the next 5 to 7 years, I want to have employees. And then in the next 7 to 10 years, I want to be on a national level. Like I want people all the way from Washington State all the way down to Florida to know who Sportscasters is.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a 10 years plus, global. So I want people in London, I want people in India, Australia, China, Korea. I want everybody to know who Sportscasters is 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much kind of the vision that I had, like getting to that point. Mm-hmm. That's what I've stuck with. So business plans, marketing models, everything I had to put into the plan of how to get to that point. And so really our main, I guess you could say, catchphrase is sports for everyone. So it's like, it's simple because essentially sports is for everybody. You just got to figure out what is your sport, what is your player, what is your league or team. And that's where sportscasters come in. We'll just come in and talk about it.
So like, for example, ESPN. So you wanted the brand to be like, kind of like an ESPN type.
No. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, content is content. It doesn't really matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the game in sport content is who can get it out first, not who can get it right. That's where we come in. We don't want to be first because if you see like any other time, of course, ESPN and the Athletics, CBS, those type of brands, they'll get it out faster because they're $1 billion corporation. Mm-hmm. They have reporters who are literally on the inside of those organizations where they're reporting from, which is cool. The name of the game where we come in is we can take that content and give it to people who don't really like ESPN or who can't comment to ESPN about what it is, how they feel about it. So similar to your vision, that's essentially what we try to accomplish, just because we don't want to sit there and just be another sport content page, because then we're just like ESPN and then ESPN will swallow us whole. So we have to figure out, kind of like what you were saying earlier, how can we be different? And providing that content and be able to converse with other people, not just post it and have them comment, or I guess listen and talk, but converse with people about it. Like, okay, all right, sportscasters, they know what they're talking about, or sportscasters, we don't agree with that. And then we just keep the ball rolling there.
Right. So like with your point, I think with what it is that, people try to reach out to the ESPNs, the NBCs and all that. And it's like, they don't get a response, especially for social media. Everything is on social media now. So it's like for us, for my brand and your brand, we want to hear everybody. My show doesn't really get that much of a response base, but I still put myself out there. With sportscasters, from what I've seen, your fan base is very big. Is I want to say it's very big, but it's a good amount of people in the fan base. With you, what made you decide to make the brand bigger in launching the network with all the other sports casting, with all the other podcasts that's within the network? Can you expound on that real quick?
So when I created Sportscasters Media, which was a podcast at first, that's actually not what I wanted to do long term. I was doing a short term. I was playing the long game and the end game. I wanted to get people to know who Sportscasters was first
Mm-hmm.
before I created the network. I didn't want to give other podcasters a platform when I didn't have a platform to have Sportscast to be able to produce anything from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I created, the Sportscasters Media, and I had Sterling Harris, Emma Houghton for one season, and then I had Michaela Harris, Matthew Anderson, and myself, and we just hit it and we just ran with it. And from that point on, we grew like over a few months, actually, longer than what I thought, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, shorter than what I thought. And so from that point on, it was like, dang, like, okay, I see where this is going. And then, of course, life hits and then people have different obligations.
Right.
So that's when it was the point where I was like, all right, let me turn this into a network. And from that point on, just trying to get it off the ground and just trying to find people who enjoy talking sports. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying talk to where it feels like a job, but feels like, they could literally sit on a podcast and talk for hours if they could. Now, granted, the average Joe is not going to listen on hours on somebody. A solid, 20 to 30, 45 minutes is a good amount of people can listen. But just getting somebody who's psyched about it. And so from that point, just trying to get the network up and running, SEN, Sportscasters Network, and just trying to get people who love to talk about sports.
Right. Like me personally, I personally fell in love with the brand. When I first saw the brand, I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. And then as I continue to follow the brand, it just kept evolving and evolving and evolving. Like, for example, my show is on Sportscasters Network. So y'all, if y'all want to go check it out, y'all can check it out. Instagram, if you want to drop your Instagram at the end, you can. But we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna do one small sports topic real quick.
Okay.
Who is more valuable in the NFL draft? Justin Fields or Zach Wilson?
Oh, Justin Fields, hands down.
Okay.
And I say Justin Fields because Zach Wilson is kind of getting thrown into the same situation that Sam Darnold was getting into. Now, coaching is different. He has a little bit more weapons than what Sam Darnold came into. So it may be a little better, quote unquote, for him. But Justin Fields, I feel like you put him on any team, he can change the franchise. Just because he has that ability, like he has that it factor. Me personally, I watched bits and pieces of this past season when they went into the semifinals. I watched bits and pieces of him throughout the season. I watched a full game when they played Clemson, and I said, yeah, that's that dude. That dude is going to take over the league one day. And I think personally, given the right, not even honestly, he's such a good player. It doesn't matter what situation it is. Look at all the other quarterbacks. The main thing you hear from analysts and what they say is they have to be in a good situation.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence, he's sort of coming into a newer franchise, kind of like the Carolina Panthers. Some pretty solid talent out there, pretty solid defense. Receiving is getting a little better. Running backs needs to be handled or addressed in the draft if possible. Zach Wilson, kind of what I reiterated from earlier, just it's a new franchise to an extent. So that's that. Mac Jones, I'm not even going to get on him because he's not somebody that I think is going to be a good quarterback in the league in the long run. Trey Lance is somebody that I'm eager to watch as he gets into the league too. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Justin Fields is his league takeover.
Honestly, if I was to have a mock draft of the quarterbacks by itself, I would have to put Justin Fields over Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Because I guess people are seeing it because of talented-wise, yes, Zach Wilson is pretty good. But when it comes to performing at the clutch moments when you need someone to perform, I got to give it to Justin Fields. Trey Lance, I have to watch more tape on him. because we haven't seen him in a full season. We only seen him for one game. We got to see him in a full season. I think it's gonna take him some time to adjust to the NFL speed, the plays, and all that. But he should be okay. I think Mac Jones. We know the history of Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL, how they perform good at Alabama, but they perform very poorly in the NFL. But hopefully, Mac Jones,
except for Jalen Hurts, that man came
I don't
into
know.
that organization.
But with this incoming season with the Eagles, I don't know, because unless they draft Kyle Pitts, I don't think Pitts is gonna last in number 12.
I don't even think. Yeah, to your point, Pitts is not gonna go that low.
He's not going to
do. Grab Devontae Smith.
Line, they could build that offensive line up and then get some defensive pieces on the other side of the football. But I don't know. I gotta see Jalen in a full season instead of seeing Jalen in a half season to get me to be on the boat for Jalen Hurts. But the first game against the Saints, that's not a bad debut for an Alabama Oklahoma quarterback.
Yeah.
Anywho, I appreciate the discussion. I appreciate you coming on for this roundtable.
Anytime, man.
And we will see y'all in the next episode. Peace out,
yes,
y'all.
Sir.